Let it be known throughout the land, from the mighty kingdom of Brooklyn to the faraway realm of Flavor Magazine, that we gather here to honor a trailblazer, a queen, a sister of the screen. The First Lady of Flavor, Khadijah, once ruled the brownstone alongside her court, Sinclair the Sweet, Regine the Radiant, Maxine the Magnificent.
She who has conquered the realms of television, film, music, and yes, even the talk show sofa.
Supple of skin, ample of bosom, full of rhyme and rap, but she ain't no sap.
Yeah.
A woman whose laugh can heal hearts, whose side eye can slay dragons, whose legacy still lives supreme decades after she first claimed the crown.
What are you calling virtuous?
No, wait, no, come on now, hold on. We're not ready to jump. We're ready. Hold on. She's always been impatient. Let's do this. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
And so, by royal decree, we present.
Ladies and gentlemen, Her Majesty hath arrived, Queen Latifah! You let us play with this. Go get her. Go get her.
Come here, girl.
Look at my girl.
Oh, yeah, you see,
Look at us.
we clean up well. We always did, right?
You gonna keep this plume the whole time?
Really good.
Come on,
Well,
look
the
at this.
plume is now like it's changing.
It's moving the
Oh,
whole
where's
time.
the plume?
It's back here. Okay, just
Here, let me
put-
de-plume.
Deep
forgot it was there.
You've been
Thank you.
de-plumed.
Thank you. Thank you.
You've been blessed and de-plumed.
Stealing everything.
She's
Taking
from
it all.
Jersey. She's from
That's
Jersey.
what you
Hey,
do. That's what we do.
hey.
So you all may see us or hear us referring to as Dana, Queen, Latifah. You got a whole bunch of names, don't you?
But you know what? There's only one queen. There's only one queen, and you're a phenomenon. You're a phenomenon. You're a Grammy-winning, award-winning, Emmy award-winning, SAG, Golden Globe,
That's gonna
Kennedy
take a long
Center
time.
artist. No, here we got to say
I
some
know
of
how
this.
that goes.
Kick-ass equalizer, 5 seasons, first hip hop artist to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Come on now.
Woo, I'm tired of talking
didn't know
about you. You're that girl.
We want to start with your
Origin
origin story
story.
for Living Single. How did
Yeah,
you
how'd
come
you get
to Living Single?
Yeah.
If I can recall correctly, because these was many, many moons ago.
Many moons.
I was a rapper, as you know, because y'all pretty much taught me everything I know about acting. I was rapping, and it was, Shakim, me and Shakim, we were on tour. We went out with Will Smith a lot. He headlined. So between Public Enemy and Heavy D and Will and Heavy D, they headlined the tours that we were on.
Okay.
So we became like family out there on the road for months at a time. You young teenagers making some
How old were
money.
you?
I was 17, 18. I was like
Wow.
18,
People don't know.
18,
We
19.
were in this game a long
Oh, yeah,
time.
we've been all doing this a long time. We were
Lord.
babies.
Yeah.
But when Will got his TV show, that's when it became like an actual possibility. Nobody really, I wasn't really thinking about a TV show until Will got one. And then when Will did it, we're like, Will got a TV show? If Will can do it, we can do it. So we just started kicking around ideas like, how can we make this happen? That was the next step. But then, still being on the road, on a tour bus, one of our favorite shows was Living Color.
Of course.
And this one was who we watched all the time. Kim
Thank you.
Cole's, like, we had
Everybody,
been
I
on the
loved
show. We loved
It was
everything
a
about it.
phenomenon.
And then we
Yeah.
found out that Kim was in a holding deal.
Mm-hmm.
And Yvette Lee, she was Yvette Lee at the time, she was doing Mr. Cooper.
Oh, right,
But
right.
she was like one of the first woman writer producers.
Absolutely.
So you had her ready to make a new move.
Because you were
we were
already
like-
in a deal.
When we
with
heard,
Warner Brothers?
we got to deal with Warner
Got a
Brothers,
deal,
Shakim
okay.
and I. And then we
Okay.
found Yvette as well. So we all kind of locked in at the same time. And we came together with the idea of what the show would be. And then we found out she was in a holding deal. And we were like, yo, we got to see if we could get her. Because it's like supposed to be these two cousins.
Yes.
I'm like, can we please try to get Kim Coles?
Oh.
And then Kim Coles got down.
Was available.
Kim Coles
But in my
got down.
meeting, they were like, what do you think of Queen Latifah? I was like, I like her. So like, they
Thank
didn't tell me
God.
what was going on, but it was like all forming.
Yeah, it was
I love
kind
it.
of all happening. And then you,
Okay.
I mean,
I did an audition. I was found off the street like an urchin. And, they just bring me in.
a professional maverick kingdom queendom
But you have to understand,
urchin.
I was coming from
Oh,
Cousin
you-
Pam, which was nice, but there was no reason for me to be among the really cool Chilsey people because I couldn't. No, really, because
yes, there was.
well, I
Your
appreciate
whole
that,
show was
but it
cool.
wasn't.
You was
Right,
cool.
right.
Well, I appreciate that, but
And to get you,
you
was
guys-
like, what?
well,
This
that's
is
kind.
no, you don't give yourself the proper credit because
Oh.
first of all, you know, I want to like actually you shouldn't get the credit because you messed up my laugh. I had a cute laugh. I had a cute, sexy, girly laugh as a kid.
Oh, please.
And then somewhere along the line,
That's a
it started
lie.
going. We all started laughing like Erica. I was like, "What happened to my laugh?" My
Your
whole
influence
life.
has been
Well,
felt.
Your influence
Hey,
is strong.
Your influence
girl,
is
so
strong.
of
We still
course.
going around acting like we own everything.
I remember
Come
one time I was
on.
like, I
Thank
want to
you.
be a queen. And like, you are a queen. You got mad at me.
Yeah,
What you
tell
talking about?
that
You
story.
are a queen.
Because I had to
okay, don't
tell
beat me
you
up.
that.
Yeah,
Oh,
but thank you.
But you taught me great, amazing words. You're one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life.
we influenced each other.
We sure
We
did. Kim Fields, who was crossing over from Tootie,
Mhm.
she
sure.
was, the whole world knew her as Tootie,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, but she had started doing Martin. She had started
Yep.
coming back with a whole different look, a different vibe. And then she got down. So we had the 4 girls, and that was kind of what it was. And then it was about getting the 2 guys, but it was
dudes.
really about locking in those 4 girls.
women
And that
folk.
was the 4. And actually, before the show was called Living Single, it was called My Girls. Do you
Mhm.
remember
My girl-
that?
I remember. My
I
girl.
made a whole theme song and everything.
You
You made a
did?
theme song
I
just
was
for
like,
that?
I did. I got a whole different theme song for My Girls. And then they said, we're changing the show to Living Single. And I was like, okay.
Do you remember that we went
back
over
to
to
the
Les
lab.
Moonvest's office to say that we didn't like the name Living Single? Like, that's a stupid name. Do you remember that we went to his office? So you cannot change the name from My Girls to Living Single. Nobody talks like
See
that.
how you inspired her
I
to go around
know.
and tell the the
But it
head
was-
of the studio.
network,
But
yeah.
that's because you hanging around.
That's right.
together.
The queen.
That's right.
Right.
It was just practice for stuff we would have to do later.
I'm glad I got that locked in
Oh my
early.
gosh. Oh my
We had to
gosh.
get up to, you know, I wasn't used to TV. I didn't know anything about TV. I didn't know much about acting at all. You know, I did
And
like
you
a
were
couple school
fantastic
plays.
in
And
it.
so I was just the sponge. But the other side of me was like owned a company and was
Right.
It
was
was a
an
mogul.
artist
And,
and
we're
was
going
like,
to get into that
yeah,
because that's the whole
so-
thing with Shakim and all the things. The thing that you built is pretty outstanding because it's has everything to do with sort of linchpinning on your God-given DNA abilities, which are astounding. And we can't give enough to that. But also, not everybody who wants to do things is an entrepreneur. You're a natural entrepreneur. And then
going.
you've been able to, you're going to look at it. I'm giving you a prop. You're a natural entrepreneur who learned how to do it, but you built for other people.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
And that's to me the real conversation going around there. If you go to Newark, y'all, don't go anywhere near there. See how
What?
much they love this girl.
Yeah.
She got some nerve with her Brooklyn self talking all of this Philly, Brooklyn. You
Yeah,
don't hear me
Philly,
telling people don't go
Arizona,
to Philly
Brooklyn.
and Brooklyn.
Hey,
Newark is coming up. You want a house music festival? You know where to go.
Okay.
Okay. You want some soul food? You know where to go.
No.
You know, you want some up and coming developments? You know where to go.
No.
Okay. You want an airport closer than an hour? You know where to go.
No.
You want the train station 5 minutes away? You know where to go.
No.
You need a bus? You know where to go.
No.
You need more cherry blossoms than in Japan and Branchville
Really?
Park
Really?
in the whole United States, then you gotta go to
Newark.
come on. They can pull that for the commercial.
That's a commercial.
That's brilliant.
Cherry blossoms.
Oyster.
I
love it.
Really? I didn't know that.
I love it.
I didn't know that.
So
I love
listen,
it.
where are you off to go? You're off to the races. Here you were, a lead in the TV show, Kim and you, both headlining. We have Kim Fields, who's iconic, who's there as a third. I'm coming up on fourth. And then we have our 2 guys.
Oh
Tell us
my
a little
gosh.
bit of what you remember about the pilot. Do you remember if you thought then it was going to be a hit?
I always thought it was gonna be a hit. I wouldn't even have signed up. I mean, I only signed up and committed to things that I was fully committed to. But and a lot of things at that age is not knowledge, it's your gut instinct. And
You were what, 23 years old, right?
Yes.
23 yeah.
I was
okay.
23 when we actually started the show and moved to California. I was, from Jersey. I mean, New York, New Jersey, but definitely not California. And this was like really early years of your life. And, but I knew we had something. I mean, that was the goal, to create something successful.
Mm-hmm.
But once we got y'all, I mean, I was already like, okay, Kim Coles, this is crazy. Yvette was like on the come up, like, and then you, and then Kim Fields.
Come on.
Kim Fields. Are you
Right.
kidding
Can't
me?
say enough.
You know? And then these two guys who I did not know. I mean, I knew John from his comedy,
Mhm.
so I knew he was funny.
I didn't know.
I knew a little bit about John from his comedy. I knew a little bit about TC.
because he did Living Large.
Right.
That
Right.
movie.
So they were both great.
yeah.
To me, it was also the success of Martin and Fox being this like kind of burgeoning network, trying to become the fourth network. There was like space for us to grow and do our thing. I mean, it was a
Mhm.
fight because we had to fight for everything.
Mhm.
Fight for the identity of the show, fight for the
Mm.
class of the show, to show 4 different kinds of women, to show
Mhm.
2 different kinds of guys, to show what
Mhm.
Black people look like who
Come
are
on.
upwardly mobile, headed towards success,
Yes.
struggling, to be, entrepreneurs, like the
We were
whole
all
up and
becoming.
down.
We're
Yeah,
all
we
becoming.
were all becoming. So we didn't want to become what we were not on on screen. All the things were explaining and sometimes fighting for and locking arms. We, as y'all know, we've
Very
done
much
it before many, many
Mhm.
times. And a lot of it I learned from you. Frankly, I had to kind of
Okay.
look, and Ellen Falcon slash
Gittleson.
Gittleson. Like she took pretty much,
You know, I met her at Cosby Show.
and I met her on The Fresh Prince.
So there she was in our world and suddenly
Oh,
lock in.
wow.
What'd
Yes.
you learn from her?
I learned how to hit the mark. Just go stand right there. And when this one comes in there, then the camera's gonna come to you. So I want you to point this way and face this direction because she taught me everything. Frankly,
Wow.
I didn't know
Taught me.
anything about TV. I knew enough about shooting videos. I knew how to perform. I knew how to be in front of a camera. But as far as being in a 4-camera setup where it's just, you have a fourth wall that's there. So it's just here, here, and here. So you kind of got to play out. I mean, I can look at the show and see where I didn't know where to put my hands. I wasn't sure which leg to cross or how to point myself out a little bit, so that the camera would get it, and she taught me a lot of that. And then Kim Fields told me like everything is about timing. It's all about timing. So timing I knew because I'm musical. So I hear things in timing anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I got this. You just gotta, and off of this line and off the rhythm of this sound of your voice or whoever's voice was coming before, I knew da 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 da. Okay, so. I just knew how to
and
like
you brought your
come
own
right on
rhythm
the
to
time of
it too. And I think what we had
Absolutely.
I always laud you for taking the sitcom script and adding your own musicality to
Ooh.
it. And so you coming in as music itself, adding your own, TC being musical, John and I doing our comedy thing, and then Kim Fields, who's the queen of all this. I think we had our own rhythm that was was on the page in the words, but we brought our own
Absolutely.
thing.
We had to figure this whole thing out because
Mhm.
you are very smart, super smart. You know what I mean? And
She
so,
is.
and you know a whole lot of big words, and I
Vernacular,
still
just
remember
the
taking things from what your mom would say to you, like,
Right.
right,
Right.
soon, and
So,
things
right,
like
so you remember
that.
soon?
Oh, a little soon.
What?
You a
So
little
there's a phrase, my
soon.
mother, there's a phrase she said, so-and-so's a little soon. And soon
Oh,
is
her
like
mother-
when they're
Came
not
out too early?
Yeah, came out a little too early. They're not
Okay.
quite
Too
cooked all the way.
soon.
And not
That's great.
stupid, not slow,
No.
but just
But a little
soon.
soon.
Mm.
Like,
You remember that?
look
Wow,
to-
she's gonna
Oh, it's
love-
so many isms
Yeah.
that your mom had that you would say that were fantastic. But we had to figure out with
Yeah.
Yvette, like how do we make Sinclair?
Mhm.
Because some of these words can sound stupid, but she's not
No,
stupid.
she's just-
She's actually you've
I say
explained this
childlike
many
wonder
times.
and marches to the beat of her own
But
drum.
you brought that to it. You brought that to him, and just like John brought what he brought to Overton, and they're like really they're heroes to us. That's like the mark of what a relationship is, on
I love
what
that. Thank
character is
you.
like, and what people should be like. Like
Because it's pure and beautiful.
exactly.
And they say to play those characters, you have to be very intelligent. And they both are
definitely
and were.
They sure are.
Received
Yeah,
that.
For
Thank you,
sure.
thank
For
you.
sure.
Yeah.
So here you were adjusting to this new life, this new place, this new world.
Mornings and mornings.
and mornings.
What time?
And and I've said many times that you
Yeah.
came from a world in which
That lives at
everything, nothing
night. Y'all
happened
are
until you
vampires.
showed up, and this is a whole new.
And a lot of it happened at night.
and-
Yeah, that's real.
So when do you feel that you adjusted to this new morning? I think we did push back the hour. We started. Let's not even try to do 9 a.m. Let's just go do 10. Yeah.
10 feels right. You know what I mean? 10 feels much better than 9.
Fine with me.
You know,
You know, hey,
just
everybody want an extra hour.
I was tired. I was like, okay, I've partied enough these past 3 years from 15 to 18. Whew. Wow, New York.
Wow, the world. And you travel
Just
the
go
world.
Going across
let me
the
go
bridge.
do something with
Lay
my
down
life
some
now.
roots.
You
Lay down
know.
some roots.
But you know what? Then it was interesting that Kim always talks about the home that y'all made together in the
Yeah.
quick change room.
Oh, man.
Because being on
She
set
did.
is like being in another home. Right. So tell about the quick
So let's
change
talk
room,
about,
please.
so remind everybody that, on a set, so that you don't have to go all the way back out to your trailer, because we had trailers. We had these quick change booths, and they are designed so that you can go in and quickly change into the next outfit for the next scene.
Yeah.
You all were each separated, but for some reason they never separated our room.
That
And
was
so
kind of weird.
I wanted to make
'Cause
it a
seems-
safe
You think they
haven.
would because you guys were the leads.
Oh,
No,
but
they
it didn't
kept us
happen.
together.
Fantastic.
It was wonderful. I think I put a little rug. I went to Pier
She
1.
hooked it up.
Mm.
I had a little rattan
Yeah.
sofa, a little
Rattan.
table with a plant, a
See what I
rattan.
mean by the words?
Yeah, but, hey,
This on a regular basis.
And then, if you
Yeah.
remember, there was an ashtray. We were both smoking cigarettes at the time.
Yes, we were, oh man.
And if you
Kim
recall,
feels harassment.
I know, yeah.
Harassment.
she would take my cigarettes and break them apart. Like, how dare you?
Oh my! I know.
I
Kim
got another
Fields did
pack.
the same thing
Yeah,
to me.
I
I
didn't
was
know
like,
that.
"Hey, leave
Get
me
over
alone."
Leave me
But I
alone.
provided a place where we could.
Get
So,
a puff
Dana,
on
and
real quick.
Y'all
We
made
have
it
a
look
whole
sexy.
conversation.
we'd have a
Yo,
whole conversation.
I
We'll be
know,
right
you
out
made it
shortly.
look sexy.
You did pretty good though. I saw you practice one time. I
Right,
was like,
right.
she don't smoke,
No.
but you did good.
You did Thank you.
and
I
I'm glad you
appreciate
did
it.
not smoke.
Thank you. No.
Yeah, you hooked us up.
I
But Kim
wanted
is
to make
also
it-
good at striking up conversations, so she'll be like, "Did you see this and that?" And I remember I was doing.
What do you mean, say? You're good at striking up conversation. Mean I talk too much? Is that what you're trying to say? I
No,
wanted you
it
to
was
have feel
just-
at home because you
you
felt like you
made
might
me
be a little
feel at home.
homesick. 'cause
Oh,
you were
I
away
was
from-
definitely
Oh,
homesick.
she
Okay.
was so homesick.
I went crazy on Livingston. I mean,
Yeah.
I needed to go home every 3
I
weeks.
know.
Every time we got a
Mm.
hiatus, which was every
Oh.
3 weeks,
We
I
do
was
3
out of
weeks
there.
on, 1 week off. 3 weeks on, 1 week
I
off.
was gone.
You
I
were
was I was
gone.
on a flight to New Jersey every time that we
Mm.
got a break because I also felt like California was a little slower. First of all, you got this whole group of friends and family and people, and they just send you out to California. Okay, we're gonna come out there. Nobody came. I was like,
No one ever comes.
crickets, crickets, crickets,
Like,
crickets.
is anybody out there? You know,
No one ever
it's like
comes.
the silence was
Somebody
deafening.
coming to visit
I
me?
was like, y'all don't, you're not, I got this big house for all y'all to come, and nobody is coming out
Mm,
here.
yeah.
So I would go home every couple weeks if I could. As soon as we got a break, I was gone. And then finally, one winter, I think I did not make it home, and that was the shift when I felt like, oh, okay,
I'm gonna make this work.
I'm getting into California. I'm kind of. I started become. I'm definitely bi-coastal at this point. Like I've split half of my adult
Definitely.
life
Right,
in
right.
Yeah.
in LA. So I feel like I'm from here and I'm from where I'm from, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that was important to have those moments with you to just kind of be normal because you
Ground.
were from where I'm from.
Right.
Well, look, we have lots to talk about. We have lots to talk
We
about.
got to get ready for the
We
show.
We do. Let's do this.
Let's do
Come on,
this.
Queen.
We've got,
I'm
we've got,
here.
we've got.
I'm
You're
here,
here.
E.
Well, you're
Thank you,
wow.
love.
Yay.
Yeah, easy.
Thank you, love.
It's time for the rewind, where we watch and relive living single with you.
Okay, today we're watching She's Not Heavy, She's My Mother. And Khadijah's mom comes to town for Mother's Day, and the gang is ready to celebrate until a surprise guest arrives, Regine's mother. Regine is instantly on edge, especially when her mom starts asking Kyle for advice on why Regine can't keep a man.
Meanwhile, Overton goes completely overboard shopping for a gift for his own mom. It's written by Ellen Savko and Colleen Tabor, directed by our beloved Ellen Gittleson. We have some extra guest stars. Come on, we have
Extra
Chip
special
Fields
guest
Heard
stars.
and Rita Owens. Who's Rita Owens?
My mother.
The real life
Our
mother to
real
Queen
life
Latifah,
mothers.
and the real life mother to Kim Fields.
Yeah.
So Chip Heard because she's married now, also known as Chip Fields, as Laverne Hunter. Chip is, come on, she's an icon. Actor,
Yeah.
director, producer, master teacher who played the infamous Lanella Byrne, the baby face.
Mhm. Janet with an iron.
With that
Woo.
iron, remember? And,
Gordon.
Also in Good Times.
Yes.
That's what that was.
And the great Rita Owens as Mama James. The real Rita Owens majored in drama and was a high school teacher at Irvington High School in New Jersey. And in later years, Rita became a health advocate for interstitial lung disease, which she battled. She fought that battle until she passed away in 2018. And
we want to do a
Dana's
special shout
father,
out to your father, who, by the way, you're looking more and more like your dad.
And Daddy
What a good looking man. Listen,
Fine.
shout out to your father, Lancelot Owens, a New Jersey police officer. Thank you for your service, who's still with us.
Yes.
We also have to send some much, much, much love to our beloved Winky,
Oh, yeah.
your
Interstellar
your
love.
brother, Interstellar Love, Lancelot Jr.,
Interstellar
who
love.
passed away in 1992, who was also a police officer. Thank you. Salute.
Yes.
We do.
Um,
So,
it's funny because this episode is heavy because of that reason.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the episodes I think that we do, we're playing characters, but this is very meta. Your mothers, real mothers, are these characters. And in a way, they both have iconic daughters in showbiz that have made a huge amount of change and have been pioneers.
My mother loved us so much. She was so very proud of us. And she did come visit me.
she did.
But as you said, I lost my brother in 1992. We started living single in 1993. So
Mm.
I was coming off of that.
And coming off of grieving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't through it yet.
No,
Definitely was not through it yet. But my remembering of these shows that my mother was on was a little nerve-wracking because I was nervous for her.
For her.
I was nervous. It's like watching your child play a sport.
Yes.
You're out there like, or the dance recital, or you're like,
You
come on,
can
you can
do
hit
it.
this note. You've been practicing. You're ready. You're like, my body was so tight. And when that show was over, I was like, yes. I could not wait for it to be over, kind of, because then I could like calm down. And Chip was amazing. Chip was everyone's coach. She coached me. She coached my mother. She's brilliant.
Yeah.
Obviously, the brilliant Kim Fields, but she became kind of the coach of the show. So she would jump in on anybody who
Yes.
needed help,
Right.
anyone who
Everyone.
needed help along with their acting, because this was the first time for a lot of us, and we introduced a lot of people to television, to sitcoms through our show.
Mhm.
So it was good to have somebody like Chip to help them along if they came from rap, which we already fighting for these roles, which some actors were not like happy with us doing this
coming
because it's
in
a
the
very
doors.
competitive
It's very
field.
competitive.
And to their credit, any trained actor's credit, we should have to learn and step up and learn the craft, and really respect it and do our thing that way. But we had people like Chip who would help us along. So she coached my mom while she was on the show as well, and they
Ooh.
just hit it off.
I love it.
They were the moms of it. They got to just
They
be
were
mothers
moms.
sometimes,
How
even
did
though
your
they were
mother-
acting.
How did your mother feel about it?
She loved it.
She loved
did.
it.
She loved it.
She looked like she was
my
having
parents
Like she was
low-key
having
hams.
fun.
Both of them.
Right.
Both of them met being hams in a
Yes.
doo-wop group on an army base. I said, born hams.
Born
Okay,
hams.
y'all want to be in these things, but it's also, if it weren't for her, I wouldn't have been a rap artist, because I would have never met DJ Mark, the 45 King, who she hired to do the high school parties. She was a class advisor. So when they had to raise money for, their field trips, they would throw parties. And, they would tell her, hire the 45 King. So she would hire him. This guy, DJ Mark, the 45 King, went on to become my first producer, made my demos, and helped get me signed to Tommy Boy Records.
Wow.
So there goes my career.
Mhm.
And so she was always behind us. She rooted for us. She knew we could do it. It didn't matter how young we were. She supported Shakim. Like, they have a whole different relationship. My partner / manager, if you wonder who Shakim
Yeah,
is.
Marie.
Um,
Yeah.
and
You all
Flavor
went
Unit.
to high school together.
We went to high school.
Yeah.
He was a grade ahead of me, but I transferred into my mother's high school my sophomore year. So I'd taken algebra already. So we were in a geometry class together.
Are you
Wow.
kidding?
Yeah,
And
so
still
he
together
sat-
today.
He sat in front of me and we just talked the whole
Putting the
class
numbers
and
together,
just-
making math.
Yeah, we were
making
making
new
math.
math. You know,
we were
new
making
algorithms.
algorithms. from
Yeah,
temp-
go ahead, Shaquille.
Yeah, so
Wow.
That's what's up.
so
Wow.
it was fun to have her there. It was nice to have a
We
piece
loved
of home.
having
Well,
her
we're
there.
going to
so far
talk
away.
about that
Okay, we
and
are.
get more going through. We're going to also be able to talk about,
Your
how
hair?
you built, please.
And how amazing it is.
Doesn't it look good?
And how
It does.
many
Thank you,
different-
Janet
I really
Holmes.
want to squeeze those
Yes,
balls.
yes.
Can I
Tiffany and
squeeze
Janet,
one? Can I-
Go get it. Go
I'm
get it. Go get
squeezing
it.
one of the-
a lot of
Go get it.
balls.
Ooh, it's soft too.
Thank you.
And it's blonde. It's got braids.
You-
and it's
it's
got
nice,
the
dimensional.
whole thing.
Why'd you think
dimension.
I knew you were
I mean,
coming.
this
I had
is
to-
a cat.
Look, let me tell you
Cleaned
something. I'm
up.
sitting next to two queens.
Yeah,
That be,
I mean,
I'd make sure I get roped. You know what I mean?
We could both get one.
Come
Just in
my
case I need to
way.
hang
Come
myself.
my way.
Okay,
Tug of
listen.
war.
All
Okay.
right, listen. Okay, now this
Let's watch
episode,
the episode.
I've got to do a little maintenance here because
Okay.
for y'all who don't understand, this is a very special episode because this episode was first presented in Aroma Vision during
Wow.
Fox's interactive Foxorama event in 1994. Viewers could buy 35-cent kits at 7-Elevens, and that included 3D glasses for Married with Children and 2 sealed scratch and sniff cards for living single. And the scents were
Cheese and
cheese
cedar.
and cedar.
We couldn't get
Yeah.
no peppermint or eucalyptus
Well,
or
or
Blue
listen,
Nile
this
or
was
Egyptian
Regine's
musk.
stored. Wait, look, it wouldn't have been it was Regine's stored outfit aroma from her mom's cedar
Uh-huh.
closet,
Right.
whatever, it's an abandoned gift. She didn't want it. All right, let's check it out.
Let's watch.
Roll 'em.
Well, I just can't wait for you guys to meet Aunt Rita. She is terrific.
All the kids in the neighborhood wish they had Khadijah's mom, especially me.
I remember that wig.
But that wig was covering up a bunch of braids.
Exactly.
Whose wig was it?
Look, wait, you see it on the side.
She
Look
looked
on the
like
side.
to me Darth Vader. You know how that's Darth Vader's hat?
The hat.
Yeah. She had a front mask. She just have to breathe, and she looked just like him.
Yo,
Just look at Darth Vader.
Have you ever went over for a friend's house?
And the food just ain't no good.
I mean, the macaroni sucking, the peas on mush, and the chicken tastes like wood.
Here she comes. Here she comes.
Oh,
Oh, you look great.
oh, I know.
Rita. Good to see you. And I have a little surprise. Ta-da!
Right, here we go.
Yes.
It's Mother's
Mother's
Day,
Day.
and the gang is buzzing with excitement for the arrival of Khadijah's beloved mother, Rita. Just as the memories start flowing, Rita arrives right on time, and she's not alone. To everyone's surprise and Regine's horror, she's brought a special guest, Regine's mother, Laverne.
Laverne.
Chip's real name is Laverne, so I love that we named the moms their own real names.
that's right.
But I think
That's such a
everybody
beautiful
loved the
honor.
moms,
I didn't.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was
we knew
honoring
who
them.
the moms were, and Yvette was good with this kind of stuff. You
She
know
was.
what I mean?
She
And-
put so many of my friends down to
Yeah.
this day who have careers.
exactly.
So to bring in 2 mothers who are capable of doing it, that's,
and
the thing.
That's the thing.
I
exactly.
didn't. That's when I realized. I said, "Oh, our mother acts," and I go, "Well, why shouldn't she? Would she?
Mhm.
She's got a creative child.
Mhm.
The creativity usually comes from the parents.
Yeah.
Right. I
So
love it.
I
I
got
love
I got double trouble on those.
I
We
love
got
it.
to play with
and we
her.
know that you
Good.
were nervous for her. How'd she do?
She did great.
Yeah?
she did great. And I actually, I mean, the parts were all built around, so everybody, I think, did great.
I love that your mom let me ad lib Aunt Rita.
Yeah, how'd you do
I was like,
that?
I just
That's so
her.
did it. I was like, can I do this? I think I told her, I said, no, if it's all right with you, I'm gonna call you
She's that
Rita.
polite. She really is.
Because I hadn't yet established woo woo woo, which is the comedy
Oh
of
my
threes, and so I was like,
gosh.
I'm gonna call you Aunt Rita. Is that fine? She was like, sure, do it. Go right ahead, Aunt Rita, because I wanted to have something that
Right.
my
Made it
auntie and I would
personal.
have.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so I thought she did. She felt warm and
Mhm.
real, but I'm going to ask you, how close was the Rita
Yeah,
to the real Rita? How close
like
was that
she
character
seemed like
to
she
you?
give you a lot of leeway. Did your Rita at home give you leeway?
Enough to get myself in trouble.
Just enough trouble.
She'd be like, I told you once, I told you. No, she definitely talked to me. She explained things to me. There was a whole lot of talking before it became corporal around that mug. But
Okay.
no, my mom, she was very, very supportive, and our house was very communicative.
Okay.
My parents like sat down and explained everything, like to the point where when you were in trouble and you knew you were supposed to get a spanking, it was like the half an hour lecture before it at
Just
5
hit
years
me.
old.
Just
I'm
please
like,
spank me.
please, just give me a
Just
yes,
beat me.
here.
No,
You know what I mean?
Here's half a cheek, you know.
I'm like, can we wrap this up? 'Cause my father talked in metaphors. He spoke in metaphors.
Oh, wow.
So I was trying to decipher what he was saying half the time. And then my mother was very clear, elegant, eloquent.
You look like you'd have to be a free-range child to be doing what you were doing at 17 and have amassed that kind of, accomplishments. she at some level she trusted you.
I think she did trust me, and she trusted God more than anything, and
That's
trusted
real.
her spies.
That's real.
My mother had a network of spies. This is what really happened. You know, when you a teacher, you can enlist
Yeah, yeah.
all these kids to report back. They was snitching on me left and right. My mother,
Dana.
oh yeah, they love Miss Owens. So they
Demons.
like, Miss O, you know, I was, oh my God, when she found out I smoked cigarettes, I almost lost it. I was like, because I hated to disappoint my mother more than
yes.
anything.
Right,
It wasn't
right, right,
about getting yelled at, or it was about the look on her face of disappointment. Like that would hit me in the heart. Like, dang,
Wow.
I disappointed my mother. And you know, it was accidental how I even got into it. It was the industry that hooked me. I blame them. Big tobacco. The good marketing in those movies. But you know, she definitely believed she was an artistic person. She was an art teacher. She believed that you could accomplish anything you put your mind to. It was always promoted in my household,
Okay.
like dream and do. And there was, here's art, and here's how you write perspectives, and here's how you draw a horizon line, and here's how you make those buildings like the art they sell in Times Square. So life was three-dimensional at least.
Was
You
she an
know,
art teacher?
She was an art teacher.
Okay.
So every time she had to do a project, and my mother also got her degree while we were kids. So sometimes we went to school with my mother. Like we literally went to college when she couldn't find someone to watch us.
Yes,
And there was this
yes.
janitor at the
Me too.
school, this older woman who would keep an eye on my brother and I sometimes while she was in class. So we would hang out in the rec room with the college kids. And that's why I was like, I can only really hang with people 4 years or older.
Right.
Like y'all don't know what y'all about. You can't tell me anything if
Yeah.
you're my age. I
No,
need to
and
see what's coming. You know? I need hope for the future.
I know that's right.
We can tell that you absorbed that, and you
did.
talk about communication, your use of language, not only in your writing and your music, but I've always been really impressed with how well you are able to communicate something. So there were times that you may or may not remember on the set where I would whisper, could you just tell them that this is what we feel about so-and-so, and you would be the mouthpiece because you could articulate it in a way. And I think that you have this beautiful balance of understanding the emotions of the situation
Mhm.
and the power in the situation, and describing it and sharing it with people in a way that they can hear it and understand. And you're telling me now that this is what your parents taught you.
They
right?
taught me that, and then there was that Mikey commercial. Give it to Mikey.
Give it Mikey. He likes
He
I
likes
everything.
try anything. So you kind of pushing me up there was kind of me being Mikey, wasn't
Okay.
it?
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Okay, you set me up with that. All right.
Mikey.
You're
No,
welcome, you're
honestly,
welcome.
I think you're right. I remember telling the writers, and I know they used to I would get on their nerves, but you remember us telling them they needed to go to Brooklyn over the summer? Because sometimes we
Yeah.
would walk into things and
No,
we're
you're like,
like,
we
don't-
Who made this
don't-
up?
They
That's how
don't
they
do
talk,
this in
right.
Brooklyn. Like, y'all need to go to Brooklyn, go to New York over the summer, enjoy it, go have fun, and just check out the city so you can kind of be informed when you come
Right.
back and write
They really feel the
write
energy
about
of
it. So
Yeah, yeah.
exactly because there was so much to write about, and then we had to kind of stick up for what we were selling.
Mhm.
And we're like, this is actually what they wear in Brooklyn. This is actually because we brought clothes, we
Oh,
brought
please.
jewelry,
We talk
we
about
brought
this.
hairstyles.
Oh, for
Erica's
sure.
hairstyle, who was
That's
doing that on TV?
Red Salon Brooklyn.
Exactly.
Mm.
So
Sure.
you brought
With
the
yarn.
hair. I mean, even
With
the
yarn.
yarn, like that was so ahead of its
Yeah.
time.
Brooklyn was
know,
doing all
come
sorts. I
on.
mean, New York, to be anywhere, you had to be in the tri-state area. I mean,
Exactly.
to me, Pennsylvania, but I mean, New York and New Jersey, it was just the place to be.
It was the place to be. That's why we really wanted to write about. We wanted to play the place to be.
Mhm.
Mm.
So if anything felt like a little, we were like, we had to fight a lot, you know,
To
so,
make it
Yeah.
and
authentic.
I was happy to jump into those battles.
There are times I was like, just
'cause-
Dana, just say it like this. Just explain to them what this is.
Uh-huh.
Okay, okay, okay.
all right.
Okay.
Well,
So, here's what we're gonna
But
do.
you know,
yeah,
you mentioned being-
and that's what. What was that third line?
Because I don't know how to say. Because I'm going to say. I'm going to be really emotional. I'm not going to say it. And one time you won't remember. One time you said to me, I said something. You like, yo, you gonna make us lose our street cred, yo.
No.
And I was like, I went to private school. I ain't even got no street cred. But
No,
you
no.
say it like this. Yeah. So you helped me out a great deal. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
So we got to get back to the
Oh
show.
yeah,
Okay, get back to the
Our
show.
show.
Oh,
There you go. Yeah, forget it.
Khadijah, how about some hot chocolate?
Okay, I'll show you where it is.
Yo, I'll take a double.
Baby, now you know how chocolate makes you hyper. Let me make you some herbal tea.
Chocolate makes you hyper.
Regine, your mother is a hoot.
That was a real laugh.
Yes, she was a riot. riot upstairs, rifling through my underwear drawer. And thank God I hid my...
Deja, you've been in such a good mood. I bet your mom being in town does that to you. Girl, it has nothing to do with me. It's her new boyfriend, Alonzo. Well, since we're on the subject, Regine.
No, Ma, there is no man in my life.
No, Regine. A little respect would be nice. I am the only mother you've got.
Yeah, well, I didn't have much of a choice now, did I?
Oh, boy, I think I may be having a heat stroke up in here.
You know what, Regina? I'll bet they'll be a little nicer to me at Macy's. Well, aren't you gonna go after her? Why can't she come back to Regine? Because Laverne is her mother. So what? Laverne started it. Stop tripping.
Stop tripping.
I
Look
couldn't-
at how you
could
looking.
barely watch it.
Too grown for me to put you over my knee.
I ain't afraid of you.
I ain't pretty. I love it.
I love it. I ain't
You
afraid of
look so
you.
cute,
So
Dana.
cute.
You and she acted.
She
only
said,
a
"Stop
mother,
tripping."
Only a mother could do that. By the way,
course.
just sort of.
Oh,
Okay,
my
listen. Let me
goodness.
tell everybody what's going on. The Mother's Day trip to the spa takes a turn for the worse when Regine's mom brings up the dreaded question: when is Regine going to settle down and have kids? Meanwhile, tensions flare between Rita and Khadijah after Laverne storms off, leading to a second blow up that ends with Rita walking out to, "Ooh, Khadijah, you are in trouble." And you look like you were in
I
trouble.
feel in trouble right now.
Right. Why you talk to your mother? Why you give your mother back
it felt,
talk like
it felt
that?
way. Yeah.
And there's no
Then you
way
stop
on
tripping.
the planet. Stop tripping. I'm scared even watching that right now. Like,
Me too.
Oh,
And she kind of hits you with the towel.
Yes, she
or
does when she
smack you with that
leaves.
towel just a little bit.
so you know I had a little flashback. I
Right,
was
you did.
I was like, you can't talk to your mother like
Did
that.
you feel
get
it? Because
snatched
the
to a wall.
dynamic is very true. When you start to do that, you can see her
You can see.
knowing
go
she
there.
shouldn't say it. I know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I know what I'm saying. But no eye contact.
No
you better,
eye
You better
contact.
not look in the eye because you'll be stuck
You're in
right
trouble.
there.
Would your mother be the type of person who check you right there if you did something like that in front of people? Or you say she's a talker?
Yes, she would if she needed. There's no way. It would never even get that
That
far.
You know, we know.
It would
we know
never
how
get
far
that
to go.
far
No.
because you get snatched through a wall. You know what I mean? You tripping.
You
What?
tripping?
There's no way you're saying that
It's
in my
fantasy.
family.
It's a TV show.
If it's not her, then somebody gonna come from what she said.
What she said?
She said,
Oh, Rita, you gonna take that from her?
let me get out of here.
Let me
Give
get
me
that
that
baby.
baby. Give me that baby.
So who do you think was right though in
Um,
this situation? We've got, Regine and we've got Laverne. Who do you think was right in this situation?
Well, none of the back talk was right from any of the kids because
right.
at the end of the day, the mothers are concerned for their daughters and they just want what's best for us. But I think you can't talk back to your mother like that. You
no.
just gotta kind of take the L and tell your friends later, commiserate later.
So
but
are you saying
she
y'all-
should not have talked to? She definitely should not have talked
She
to
was
Kyle.
frustrated and she was hot.
She shouldn't.
And she
So
shouldn't have
you-
said
you
anything.
No,
were
I don't
saying-
think she should have talked
I
to Kyle.
agree.
Like you can't talk to Kyle
She's a-
about
Right.
Your daughter.
She's a meddling
What is
mother,
she doing
though.
wrong? That's crazy.
Yeah.
that part about
Yeah.
what you're doing wrong. So now you just criticized her. You're telling her she's doing something wrong. So she feels some type of way about that, I'm sure.
Exactly.
And then you talk to Kyle. And I needed to talk to a man about what you're doing wrong. Hold up. Wait, where's the girl power in that? Like,
Yeah.
I thought it was us.
No.
we not us anymore.
Yeah.
And then, Khadijah should have just went ahead and stayed about it. That,
Right.
You know, this is when you get low.
Your
What we're
mother
looking
tried.
at is difficult. Or,
This is why you're so funny in the scenes.
I'm like,
Claire's like,
"Woo,
"Woo."
it's hot here. Is it hot in here to y'all? Isn't that what we do? We
You tried
get into
to
these-
break it up several times.
Right. I was trying.
You
Y'all
trying
weren't
to break
listening.
that fight up.
But scene speaks to mother-daughter relationships and how they can be a little
Contentious.
a little. Have you ever
Turbulent.
had
They're
a
very hard to
situation with your
navigate.
mom?
Yeah, and I didn't even know I had a thing about my mom because my mother was our protector. So when I think about my mother, I think of her as like almost a saint. And yet I didn't know when I was
Right.
going to therapy, and the therapist says to me, I always know when you're going to be late or skip a session. She says, when we start talking about your mother. And up until that point, I had never even realized that I had a thing because my father was so visibly an obstacle, so visibly, just difficult and complex. And, I love my dad, but he was a very, hard person to like, not to love. We tried to love him. But she also, in my mind, I must have contained and didn't know that and so I'm still working it out. She's 83. I love my mother, but didn't know that I had that until I started living life a bit.
You gotta live life a little bit, and then
you get
I mean, as a parent now, the first thought that crossed my mind was, "Oh my God, Mom, thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." It was like, "When? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Because the weight of it all, you realize like how much your parents can care about you and worry for you, and you like literally can like just wake up out of a sleep, just it all runs through your mind, all the possibilities of what could happen and what should happen, but what could get in the way and what could go wrong. So your parents are carrying around all this in their minds all the time. So there's this proper stress that they're under that you just don't and shouldn't even understand as a child. Like as a kid, you're supposed to kind of be free and enjoy life. But there's a time when you have to work your way into adulthood. And sometimes, some people have rites of passage that help them work their way towards adulthood and really responsibility and things like that. And some are thrown right into it from being, at an early age when they're still too young for all of that. And since some people never grow up, it won't even matter. So, we have to kind of heal our inner child, just like Erica's saying right now. Like this, we have to, as adults, we have to fix whatever or work on whatever whatever happened to us as kids that we weren't even necessarily aware of.
And have the awareness that something happened. I don't think anybody gets out of childhood, even if you had a great childhood. You don't get out of childhood without some stuff, some trauma, some, perceptions that were given, some belief systems that were put on you.
You
and
talk
then you
about your mother.
Yeah, the great thing about my mom is we had moments when I was a teenager when I wanted to be on the twirling squad. She said, "You got to get your grades up." And so I would sneak out the house with my baton and go twirl anyway until they changed the outfits on me. So I couldn't twirl in the old outfit because they had new outfits. She gonna have to know. But my mother established trust with me early on. And I'm so grateful because she said, don't anything that happens out there, come and tell me first. If you come and tell me first, you will not get punished.
Right.
And so you got to test that out and see if that's really true.
Yeah.
I will not punish you if you tell me first. And so you give it a try. And the first time I do something and she doesn't know, then I get in trouble. And then there was the day that I told her first, "Thank you for telling me," and I didn't get in trouble. I was like, "This is fabulous." So we have this cone of trust.
Yeah.
And the bad news about that is she's 95 years old to this day.
God
She said, "You
bless her.
tell me too much." And she sends you her love.
That part,
She sends her
please
love.
give her
She
my
sends you
love.
her love.
I feel like
Mine as
every
well.
moment I spent with you, I was spent with your mother.
You did. I bring her everywhere because
Yes, you do.
I feel like I was given that gift of trust. And not saying that we didn't ever have our moments, but that sort of, you tell me everything and now I tell her too much.
Yeah.
Kim, there's some
That
things
is
I don't
There we
know.
go. Talking about these boundaries, unsolicited advice, love life, emotional. Some people don't have boundaries. And so you can slip into there.
Right.
Yeah.
You've had them and suddenly the mother or the daughter's told too much and suddenly that trust you're talking about, because you told them so much, they don't trust you. And then they start worrying maybe that thing that
the
you're talking
word,
about.
Right.
'Cause
Well, my mother, we established that cone of trust at 17 because I was just running the streets too much, and I didn't realize how worried about me she was.
Of course.
My brother made me aware,
Oh, wow.
he's like, "Yo, mommy's crying." I'm like, "What? I could make mommy cry?" It wasn't even a reality in my mind. And then we had a talk, and we basically agreed that wherever I went, she's like, "I don't expect you to stop hanging out. You're trying to experience the world and you're adventurous, but I need you to call me and let me know you're all right wherever you go." And so that was the
ours too.
deal. So that was the deal with all of my friends. If I was in Brooklyn, if I was in the Bronx, wherever I was, that night I called my mother to let her know I was okay.
Nice, nice.
She knew I wasn't going to stop doing whatever I was doing because I needed to do this she knew her kids. She knew us very well. So that was kind of, once that was established, we were good, you know. But she's the one who kept the boundaries because her and her girlfriend they would have these talks and they swear they were talking in code, spelling words and spelling people's
I'm too
names.
smart for that.
I'm
I'm too
like,
smart.
I can spell. I know what that
Or
spells.
pig
Yeah, like,
Latin. Like, I
duh.
figured that out.
I speak
pig Latin. What?
Away A.
Or
Or how
yeah,
you
AZ Craig.
Right, right. I'm doing
Right?
it
You know what I
right.
mean? So like they would do that, and then as you get older and you becoming a woman, and we're starting to have conversations about
Mhm,
things, and
mhm.
I'm like, Mom, my friends in California, they smoked in their house with their moms at the first, and she was like, Dana. As we're having our first little drink together, she didn't really drink. She's having a little light Kahlua or something like that with a little, not
Cream.
even, she's having a little, she likes sweet drinks, and I'm maybe having a beer or something. I don't even like beer like that, but
Yeah.
we're
Your
having
first
like a little
cocktail together.
together. And I tell her this about my friends from California who tried these things at home where it was safe. She was like, Dana, there's never going to be a day
I know that's right.
But that's gonna be
when
okay.
me and you will smoke together.
Okay.
It's never gonna happen. So I was like, okay,
Boundaries.
I tried.
She told
But
you.
she told me. She was
told
like,
you.
yes. And
Right.
certain things, when her girlfriends came around, she would
I'm
shut
your
me
mommy.
down. She would turn back into
Mhm.
my
Mom,
mother, who
yeah.
had her own life, who was a woman, a grown woman with kids.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I just happened to be one of them. What I mean?
Uh-huh.
So
That's-
there was she established some boundaries that I think were very healthy for us to have.
Are you getting your boundaries set up for your little one now?
I'm
you have-
trying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Trying. You ready?
No.
No. I'm sure you have some
No,
now, but more to
I'm
come.
sure I'm ready. I'm sure I'm ready.
More
and
to come.
God will fill in the blanks
Yeah,
as was done with me and
Mhm.
the village. The village, kicks
I've
in.
witnessed
So
you, wonderful
yeah.
mother. Wonderful.
I bet likewise.
natural,
Likewise, your mother's amazing. Come
Thank
on.
you. I appreciate it.
I got a star, but I ain't got no street.
No, no.
I gotta get me one of them streets.
No,
I got-
now,
we need a
now
street.
Dana is gonna get a ton of streets.
I
You
need
better
some
show
streets.
us.
Wow. She said, I got
We
a
go-
star, but I
and
ain't
then
got
you know-
no street.
I ain't no
Hey,
streets.
that's what's up. I got two.
Two
One in
different places.
Arizona
I
and one
thought
in
you got a couple
Philadelphia.
states.
Hey,
We got to get our streets up.
I have a maple leaf on the Walk of Fame in the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens.
A
So you
maple
got-
leaf.
Your maple, it's a little maple
And you're not
leaf.
even
This is
Canadian.
what I'm
Good for
talking
you.
about.
No,
Yeah.
We could
it's a
take the
maple
cheering
leaf.
to see
Oh,
that.
That you absolutely.
Brooklyn Botanical Gardens.
We
there
have-
with
we
Harry
made it.
Houdini and all the people
We
from
made
Brooklyn.
it.
We made
it, y'all.
We made it.
We made it.
We've made it.
Kim, I do everything out of my car. I do everything. It's my office, it's my studio, it's my nap pod.
And shockingly, not where we're recording this podcast.
Don't spoil season 2. Oh, but seriously, I take my calls, I write scripts, I do table reads, all from the car.
I know. I do the same thing. My car is like my home, just with better acoustics and less judgment. You know I don't sing.
I do. And that's why your car can't just be functional. It has to fit your whole vibe.
That's right. And Lexus understood the assignment. I mean, I'm talking about the LX. Woo! Luxury to the max. There's pour wood trim, massaging seats, and wait a minute, retractable ottoman.
Come on. A whole ottoman, y'all. Come on. Plus it's hybrid, so it's smart, sustainable, and the storage. Chef's kiss. I even have a table for writing.
And it's a rolling sanctuary that helps you move through life with excellence.
And you know, Lexus has always been excellent, even back in the 90s, just like us.
Because that's the standard of amazing.
I can't fight with my mom. It's a no-win situation.
Unless you use my foolproof method of winning a fight with mom.
Go on.
Here come the evil.
All you have to do is apologize.
That's so good.
That's the method.
Correct. Just say you're sorry before she even opens her mouth. She'll have no way of making you feel worse. It's a perfect sucker punch.
Oh man.
I wear it all the time.
Then how come it smells like the inside of your cedar chest?
Mom, you gave me that cedar chest. Therefore, it is where I keep all of my cherished belongings.
Regine, I don't understand what I did to make you so angry. But I'm sorry. Lord knows I try to be a good mother. Rita.
So let's
Go
just tell you
ahead.
what we've just seen.
What did we
Max
see?
gives Regine and Khadijah a strategy for their moms. Apologize first and disarm them, right? It works. Khadijah and Rita quickly mend their relationship, but Laverne proves to be a worthy opponent, beating Regine to the punch by apologizing first and catching her off guard. She's a pro.
Laverne is admitting to the pressure of being a perfect mother. Does anybody ever feel like their mother said that to them, or do you feel that now? You're the only one who can answer that question.
No comment. Next.
Have
Quickly.
your mothers ever admitted to that?
No,
My mother never seen it.
No,
like
my
that.
mother didn't claim. Well, my mother would say, "I'm right, even when I'm wrong. I'm right." I'm like, "What? Well, no, what?" Just as a way
That
of just
part.
hushing me up. Like I'm right,
But
even when I'm wrong. I'm
meaning
right.
people's assessment of her, though, that she should be not perfect, because I think that's, to me, you know what? I think there's some sort
That's
of
passive
TV.
aggressive.
No, but that's some sort of TV thing where you see Brady Bunch and all that, and they seem like
Right.
the perfect. I think that Black people have always had to manage so many obstacles. They're like, look, I'm doing the best I can here.
Right, exactly.
part.
I'm doing the best.
Doing the
I can.
best I
That
can.
exact line.
By the way,
Well-
let's have a little moment of the aroma vision alert.
Okay.
You know, in
It's an
this
aroma
particular
vision
scene,
alert,
it was-
y'all. Here, take one,
it was,
take one.
Cedar was happening in that particular.
it
But by the way,
smells-
these are the actual
Smells
aroma.
like
aroma
my bank
rama.
account empty.
This smells like my
You
underarm.
supposed to lick it?
I don't. You
like
like scratch a
What
sniff.
was in the scroll?
Okay.
All
Prop.
right. All right.
Okay, well,
Okay,
listen.
That's what they were doing.
That's very brave of you. Did you lick that?
No, I did. Nope.
Listen, little girl.
That's
don't
red
just-
eye number 7.
It's the aroma.
Right, that's right. Oh,
It's not.
That's why she got
not the
scared.
flavor.
Not the
Scratch the
flavor.
assignment. All right.
That's what I want to ask you. Were you influential in naming the magazine Flavor? Was Flavor because of Flavor,
Flavor
Unit?
Unit.
Of course.
Ding,
course,
ding, ding, ding,
duh.
ding. Thank you.
Thank you.
course.
Oh, come on, Overton, man. Don't tell me.
Now
you
that's
ordered
good
The
jean
beast.
fashian right there.
Fubu-ish.
Visa said no. Shouldn't have left me here all alone, man. Hey, but doesn't this whimsical garden gnome just say, Mom? Clearly, this is not the crystal vase I ordered, man. How can I send that to the woman that carried me for 7.5 months?
You were preemie? I was a breach. What's up, man?
So Overton goes overboard on the spending channel, buying a slew of tacky gifts for his mom. Meanwhile, Sinclair drops in to escape the ongoing feud between the hunters. When Kyle's carefully selected vase for his mom fails to arrive, he's left scrambling and ends up bartering with Overton for one of his prize garden gnomes. That's what's going on. It's Mother's Day
These
up in
gifts
here.
are real
What's the best Mother's
suspect.
Day you've ever been given or gifted?
My mother moved back to North Carolina, retired from being a teacher and hadn't driven in years. And so I gave her a car. I gave her actually my Honda because it served me well. She needed to learn to drive again. I moved on to a Mercedes-Benz.
You gave her an
Yeah, you
old
did.
car.
No,
and
it
you
was only
put
it was only
yourself in a
3 years. It was only
Mercedes-Benz?
3 years old. It was only
Wow.
3 years old. But she was like, she said, don't give me anything fancy. I need to learn to drive again. And the Honda, and it lasted for like 100 years. It was beautiful.
Okay.
And then when it was time to upgrade, we upgraded her. Right. So that was Mother's Day.
I gave my mother so many gifts,
Yeah, of course.
and I think it's me. I gave my mother me.
Okay.
Does that qualify?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
You
It
know?
does.
Happy Mom's Day.
Happy Mother's
It's the
Day.
gift that keeps giving. And I appreciate you.
She
for
got
me.
the
I
streets to
appreciate-
prove it.
No doubt.
Right,
No
you got the
doubt.
streets to
'Cause
prove
I
it.
did give my mom a car and a house. I did end up losing the house, but I gave
Mhm.
her a car. And every day my mother gives me so much and I see
Oh.
what she put into me. The truth is, I hope she sees my life as an extension of her own.
Mhm.
And if I could give anything to my mother, it's just peace of mind that she did well and integrity, not just with me, but I have 5 brothers and sisters that the sacrifices she's made were well worth it. Well worth it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Aw.
Yeah, I went deep and
Yeah,
long.
you did.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you more. I love you. You're my queen.
I think
She
added
threw that in.
She threw that in. That's why she's
Hey,
laughing so
That's why
hard.
she's laughing so hard.
You know what I mean? I said she laughing too hard.
You're like, uh-huh.
Yes.
Make sure we watch.
Uh-huh.
You're having a little bit too much fun at our expense.
Oh, girl, face it, you two are freaks.
I mean, look look at you. You act like mothers and daughters supposed to be best friends.
Imagine you and me trying to be best friends.
Please. We have a hard enough time trying to be mother and daughter.
When she says the queen,
Then she laughed too hard.
laughed way too hard.
That was improv.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. You can always tell when we are ourselves versus the
Yes,
character.
I can see it.
It pops
You can
out.
see it.
And I could see Chip turn into mommy right there when
Right.
she was about to hug her. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you can see just a peek of
It's true.
Sweet.
So, but they say a good compromise is when all parties leave a little bit frustrated. Or mad. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good
Like you
compromise.
frustrated, I'm frustrated. Okay, this
Right.
still is done. But you know, they make up, but they still salty. But as you said, that's their thing.
yeah.
That's the thing. That's their dynamic.
That's their dynamic. That's
Yeah.
their language, and then they actually thought about their behavior for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we are. And it was nice to just see them get a little mushy.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And Kim looking just like her mama now.
Oh my
trying to
God.
Come
You
on.
know
tell
who
you
really
right
looks
there.
like her mom is Alexis.
Yeah.
Kim has a
Yeah,
sister named
yeah.
Alexis who's like,
yeah.
Spitting
I saw her
image.
recently and I just even couldn't take it.
Still,
Mhm.
Still, even more so. It's
Oh
actually
my
freaky.
goodness.
I told her, I said, "You're really freaking me out here, man." She looked like her, but she had the essence of Kim in her.
Mhm.
So it was a weird dynamic. Gorgeous girl.
I think it's because of that age. You know,
Yeah.
she's kind of like the baby sister.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so she probably
all the best.
The bloom
Picked up
is
all
not
like a-
is still on the rose, but it falls a little off, and you start to go in your maturity, and you can see it, and you go, "Oh God." She's
Did y'all
gorgeous.
hear that shit?
The bloom
This
falls
is-
off the rose.
This is what she does. Been doing it.
Huh?
The bloom falls off the
the
rose.
rose.
You can still see. And then the movement. You saw the movement in it,
the
right?
bloom fell off the
Okay,
rose.
for those who are listening to this, she moved her hands in a certain way, and
That
her
indicated.
eyes got a little smaller as she looked off into the distance where we saw the rose.
And the bloom falling off. Oh, there it is.
You're welcome. I love it.
Welcome to The Reverb, brought to you by Lexus. This is where we reflect, connect, and talk about how the episode's themes still echo in the culture. Because just like our stories, Lexus keeps raising the bar. That's the standard of amazing. I'm going to ask you, what was your favorite episode of Living Single since we have you here? Since we
my
have you, what is your
gosh.
favorite Living Single episode?
I have a few favorites.
Oh, do tell.
But one of them is when we played those singers,
Oh God.
Flo and the Flavorettes?
Flo
No.
and the
Up
Flavorettes.
the ladder through the roof. It is
I
so
love
ridiculous.
it. It is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It is. I'm with it. Perfect.
It's
We'll do the
hilarious.
gig.
Exactly. What I love is when you start,
Oh my
you take
gosh.
over, and then when Max come on the stage, you're just looking like this, like did that just happen? Like butter wouldn't melt in your freaking mouth. And I like look at Dana just going like this, huh?
Always by your side. Take his hand tonight. Swallow your foolish pride. Tell him that you never ooh, tell him. Come on and tell him. Tell him right now. Oh
Yeah, but
It's
you with those
so
glasses,
good.
yo, you were bugging that.
Everybody was flowing
was
into
perfect.
everybody.
And I love the choreographer. She was
It
fantastic.
was Demita Joe Freeman.
Demita Joe Freeman
Joe
came in there and
Legend.
whipped us into
You're
shape.
right.
And
Yes,
it was
come
just
on, guys. What do you
fun.
say? What do you say? Look like Bozo the clown to me. Just we all looked crazy to
Yes.
me. I thought the only person that looked halfway decent when we got into the robes, you had a nice hairdo. I actually thought we all looked ridiculous.
I thought we looked perfectly
You did.
ridiculous.
I was just, ugh.
You wanted us to look better?
I thought we would. Somehow when I looked in the mirror, I
No.
said, I look like I'm in an insane
I thought we
asylum.
perfectly
You look
ridiculous.
fantastic.
You did.
One of my other favorites was with Jennifer Lewis because she
Oh.
wore me out.
Delia.
Khadijah.
I mean, you could. I like the shows where we could, like Casket. Like when we talked about the casket, there were things that turned into a whole thing behind the scenes that we could not let go while we were rehearsing. So when we,
Yes.
Oh,
when they
no.
talk-
Good
when
time.
they had
You
to
with
make
that
the
little old
casket,
lady.
that little-
Your little lady, I just wish you couldn't stop laughing. I just wish that Mittens would have an opportunity. I just wish mittens, and you were like, I can't stop laughing. I can't stop laughing.
Some of it
cat-
was
cat
just
said-
yeah. Dear God was so
You,
ridiculous.
you're staring
I'm laughing
out,
right now.
crying.
Oh my gosh, because it was funny. You know, a cat casket. And then some of these words would evolve into like whole things. I mean, we sang the Love Boat and it just turned into like a thing. We could not
You
stop.
remember the Love Boat?
The Love Boat? We just started singing the Love Boat and then
You mean
We have to do the love boat.
what?
and then
Love, 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 love,
Love.
love,
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 love.
love. Exciting and new.
Come aboard. We're expecting you and you and you and you and you and love. Won't hurt anymore. No pain, no gain.
Come aboard.
What's up?
What's
We're gonna go the love boat. Soon we'll be making another.
The love boat.
Promises
Something for everyone.
You set a course for adventure, your mind on a new romance.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Love.
Love
Won't hurt anymore. No pain, no gain. Come on board. What's up? The love boat. And that's it. Y'all just got a piece of history. Come on.
Oh,
Hey.
What?
That's
We
what's
even
up.
started-
And you have to understand, we drove
Oh
the
my
freaking
God.
crew insane.
Crazy.
Oh yeah.
there came
To
a
the-
point where they created a sound
Sound
effect
effect
that sounded
to
they were
go.
shooting us.
Yeah.
It was horrible. But it
But we're
didn't matter.
family.
It didn't matter.
We were a family. And you know what? That's the thing about people need to understand about sitcom. You spend a time waiting so long and also being yourself. You have to find a way to play. And we found a
Yes.
way to play. That was our
Boy,
warm up.
did we.
That was our warm up.
That was a warm up to do what we needed to do.
And I think that's how we learned to trust each other. I always
Yeah.
say that I would throw something at you and you would throw it back at me and you would know that you could catch it and play with it
Yeah.
and make it something new and then create accents to go with it and that gets infused. Even, that scene where you go, uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
It's not like, yo, what are you
Yes.
doing? It's like, uh-huh. You get to be yourself and bring yourself
Let's
to
close out this thing just really quick to say, what's the best advice that your mother ever gave? And, you have your values instilled in you by your parents. You talked about that. What's the best advice?
I think, all the things like, you are loved, you're beautiful, you can accomplish anything you put your mind to, all those good things she told me. But she would hit me with the joy of the Lord is your strength sometimes before I walked out the door. Dana, remember the joy of the Lord is your strength. And I was like, what? I'll be mad. Like, I got to walk out. Well, wait, why would you say that? And then I would think about that. And I was like, wait, joy is my strength. Joy is my strength. Oh, joy. When I feel joyful, I feel stronger. Okay, let me find some joy.
I think we
do we
need
need?
somebody, a mother, to give us
some more mother energy.
It's a mother energy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Where can we
Do
get
we
some
have
mother
one?
energy? Do we have any mothers in the house? Ladies and gentlemen, Chip Hurd has entered the building.
AKA Mama Laverne.
And now, sitting here right now, another queen has entered the building. Ladies and gentlemen, Chip Hurd, also known as Chip Fields Hurd, who is the real mom of Kim Fields and played in this episode. Hello, Chip.
Hi, baby.
Are we clapping for her?
Yes, we're clapping.
What a delight. What a
So we
delight. What a
have-
delight to have you.
Chip, a meta moment where here on the show, you're playing the mother of your real life daughter, and you have your fake name, real name. You're playing Laverne, which is your name in
Right.
real life. And then we
And
then we have Rita James, played by Rita Owens, the real life mother of the great Queen Latifah, known to us as Dana Owens. But you would be the only one to be able to speak to what it's like to be a mother on set and also have a daughter, but also the debut for you. You're a vet, but you can speak to,
So good. Yeah,
you know,
are.
your
Kimmy told me I was
the
also
mother.
an influencer.
You are.
You
You
are
are. Are you kidding?
Let's go.
I know that's right.
What's that?
Yeah, and you are. But you can tell us now and give testimony about Rita.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this, Dana. she came the first day so nervous. She was sweating bullets and she was like, Chip, da, 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 da. And I was like, I know that I'm scared and I'm nervous, but I couldn't be because I had to be strong for her.
Oh, thank God.
So I put on this happy face and was like, oh, girl, this is nothing. Just, just look at Dana and look at her like you'd be looking at her in real life and let that, make you not feel nervous. And I said, I'll be right there for you. And I was thinking, who's going to be there for me? I'm scared.
But why were you scared and nervous?
I never really liked acting. I did it. I really, I never did. I didn't think I was very good as an actress. And so
What on
Rita made me have to take another step up. I have to look out for somebody.
Right.
And you were nervous for her, which
Right.
was funny. Kimmy was sitting in the background going, you okay? You okay? And I'm like, shut up. You're making me more nervous. Yeah, it was probably the sweetest part of working with Rita, though, was when she would come to me and she'd go, did I do okay?
Oh.
Did I do okay? And I go, girl, you slayed that. Well, I probably didn't say slay back then. I probably said, something like, you were awesome. Don't even work. Yeah. But it did make a difference when you would look at her or you'd hold her hand sometime and you made her feel safe.
Yeah.
And then once it became fussing me and Kimmy against you and her, she turned into a beast. I was like, wait a minute. Talking about my daughter, I don't care if it is in TV. She was just fun, but a real gentle spirit. Very gracious, very she'd give everybody else the kudos and never take any for herself.
Yes.
Yeah,
She had a problem with that. She should.
Yeah,
She
she's very
deserved
humble.
much more.
Very humble. But I do thank her because she made me really step up just because I felt like I was protecting her as a mom, to another mom. Yeah.
I love that.
Can I just tell you something I've never told anybody but my husband? When we would rap on any of the episodes, Rita or anybody's episode, we would rap and he would be there because Irvin and I had just I don't think we were dating, I think we had just gotten married. So he'd be at the set. So he'd be in his own car coming from work and I'd be in my car. So he'd get behind me and he'd get home and he'd go, babe, you were going like 75 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour. What was happening to you? This is going to get a little emotional. I used to watch Lucille Ball. And Lucille Ball, after I heard her story, the real story behind the camera, it was painful. And I kept feeling like I just got married. I'm getting married in my 40s. I'm trying to be cute. And then I have to act like this clown on this show. And it was very hard for me. So when I go to wardrobe at the end of the night and I take off that stuff, all I could think of was he was watching me. He was watching people laughing at me. And I felt for Lucille Ball because I said, oh my gosh, how did she feel? And then, knowing what was happening behind the scenes.
Right.
It was painful. So that was like, this is the first time I've ever said this ever. But it was painful. I didn't want to look like the clown when I just got this man in my 40s. And God was so generous to give me such a wonderful guy. And then from that time on, I was backing out of acting because I did not want to be, because I know I can be funny, but I can also be dramatic. And when y'all were talking about talking back to your mamas and stuff, I said to Richard in the green room, see, that's why I burnt Penny, because she knew not to talk back to her mama. Okay. So anyway, there you go.
Trauma.
Thank you.
Trauma.
Thank you.
There's so much to unpack
I
there.
know, we're gonna have you come back and just
You
do-
need
feature-
an entire episode.
No,
Yes,
she is
very much so.
She
Of
came
Of
to
my
bear
new
witness.
show,
No.
what Living Single had did to me.
I'm still in recovery. Living recovery.
Me and my four therapists will all come and sit here
Thank you for
together.
being so generous enough to
thank you
come
for
and to come and
sharing
share a piece of that story. We want to hear even more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chip.
Thank you for sharing, for being that mom when you had that going on.
Yeah.
Because you rocked that mom.
Thank you, Dana. But being with y'all is It's different because y'all are different kind of ladies. You're what I like. You are. You knew how to reinvent yourselves. You knew how to keep going. You didn't stop, and you also didn't die out soon. Like we got a lot of our friends who are not with us.
Right.
That's
And
real.
and you guys have stayed strong and stayed in the game. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That's Mama Chip, y'all.
Mama Chip.
Oh Lord.
Thank you.
Wow.
We actually have not talked about, in a very serious way, we haven't talked about your mother's passing because it snuck up on her.
Yeah.
And I want to
It
make
snuck
sure
up
that
on
we
us.
talk about the disease and the signs so people
Okay.
don't know that this exists.
Whew.
I had been
Yeah.
coughing, just so you know, and had a talk with you.
Mhm.
And I know, and you said you need to go to her pulmonologist.
Yes.
Because this is something that actually, and I applaud you because you did a documentary
Yeah,
that
an
I
honor.
looked at.
Mhm.
Scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Scared the hell
This
out
is
of me.
scary stuff.
But please, can we talk
Just-
so people understand
just a
what
little
that is?
education.
Interstitial lung disease. And the great Auntie Rita, unfortunately,
Yeah.
had a battle with that.
Yeah, she had some things going on. So she had something called scleroderma, which kind of went undiagnosed, which can cause you to get scar tissue in different places, and it can show up in different places in your body. For her, it showed up in her lungs. And what happens is it creates fibrosis, which is like a hardening of the tissue. Our
Mhm.
lungs have to be soft and supple so they can, receive
Expand and-
oxygen
yeah.
and so it was kind of like trying to breathe in something hard,
Mm.
and you can't really get the oxygen that you need. So she just passed out in class one day. And that was the beginning of this journey of trying to figure out what was going on because we didn't know. And then finally, she finally got a diagnosis of a for sure diagnosis of the scleroderma. Her heart was being treated and it instantly started to come back, which made the blood pressure go down. Everything is connected. So you got to really
Yeah.
check into it. If you're not getting your full oxygen, it's going to affect your heart, which is going to pump harder. I'm no doctor, so don't take this from me.
No,
Do some
it's-
research.
Yeah.
It took a minute, but you could see it, and eventually my mom had to be on oxygen. And there are drugs that are now created to help a lot of these things that she was fighting. So I think that people should definitely, see their doctors and not play around with it because I mean, Eric, I know you when we were doing Living Single, you were running 5 miles a day. I was like, she is wilding. I was power drinking 5 miles a day. I drank 5 tequila. I was like,
I was power
I was
eating.
partying. Exactly. We was all doing something. We were going in, but I felt like, it's something that you should check up on. And here, take this guy. He's great. He knows
Yeah.
what he's doing, and so it's important that
Because it
people
took a
check
while
into
for you to
it.
find out. And the reason I'm asking is
Mhm.
because that time could have been time where she could have taken maybe some therapies or remedies
We
that
just didn't
could have
know
helped.
yet.
Well,
Didn't know yet.
No, she didn't know yet. We didn't know. And it was by that time, other things had kicked in. So it was a
okay.
few different things. I don't know how long my mom had been feeling symptoms before I could hear certain things in her voice. I could hear her. She had a lot of patience. And I could kind of hear her when I would call her in her classroom. She had a phone in her classroom. So sometimes I would call her at school to check on her or say whatever. And I could hear like her patience being a little short. So I'm like, are you okay, Ma? Are you tired? Like, I wanted her to retire. I'm like, you need to just, I'm doing my thing. I made it. You can take it easy now.
Mhm.
So my mother actually retired at 50. She
Wow.
was,
Yeah.
but she had to, it was like she couldn't keep that pace of what she was doing and and figure out what was going on with her own body at the same time. It was like, we have to figure out what's going on. So then we got down to a real diagnosis of it and we were able to get treated, and I think it really extended her time that she had here. This is very weird to talk about because I don't really
know.
talk about
I
this.
know.
Thank you for that.
sharing because
Yeah.
you shared her with us so beautifully on the
Oh,
show
I
and in our lives. And thank you for sharing that.
shared her my
Somebody-
whole life.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Thank you.
shared her my
Thank
whole
you.
life. She
Thank you.
belonged to everyone.
Thank you. And she did a
I
great job
was gonna
because
say-
if you're here, that means she's here.
Yes.
So she
Oh,
doesn't go
please,
anywhere. That's
please.
one thing about it.
Mhm.
We are speaking to her now. I have to say, you talked about
Definitely
being the court
speaking to her
jester
now.
for
Well,
Dana
we-
when after her brother passed.
Right. Well, I wanted to say, so we'll go there. I felt we were talking in the beginning about you moving to California and getting into this new rhythm,
Mhm.
I felt sort of the joyous responsibility of being your sort of court gesture, which is one of the reasons why
Thanks.
I made that
needed that.
space. Why I made that space
Yeah.
nice for us, because to give you sort of a grounding. And I didn't understand, like, I'm going to create a grounding, funny space for Queen Latifah. It just
Mhm.
seemed like the right thing to do. And it was an honor to have little jokes and little songs that we can never sing for other people,
Oh,
and sit
no.
there smoking our cigarettes and have a place of caring for you in a way that I felt that you needed, because you were going through
Oh, I
a
was
grieving time.
definitely going
right?
through it. I was definitely
Yeah.
going through it.
So-
And you definitely created that. And it's
Okay.
I just remember I remember doing Set It Off, because I was doing Set It Off at the same time as I was doing Living Single.
Oh, yeah.
You
They
go there
didn't-
and shoot at night and come
Yeah,
and be
I
with
would
us
go
during the
shoot
day.
Set
I
It
was
Off
like,
and
how are
then
you
come to
doing
work
this?
at
a
Living Single.
fantastic,
Yeah.
And
fantastic performance.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes.
You were actually supposed to be my acting coach
I
on
know
that.
you
but
wanted me
ha-
to be, but you
couldn't.
were you, no,
And so you
Yeah.
passed me off to Richie, your boyfriend at the time.
at the time.
He was like,
but
"Let
you-
Rich will do it. Rich, he'll be great. He'll be great." And I was like, "Oh
Patience.
man!" I was like, "I got this big audition. I gotta." And something had happened. Your family,
had
you had to
already
go
had
away,
it.
and you was like, "You
You
got
already
it."
was
had
yours-
the
it was
audition.
yours
Oh,
to
man.
lose. Come
It
on.
was your role.
I braided my hair up. I got
did?
a
Oh, she
prop
already had
gun
the
from Stevie, our prop guy,
you
on Living
kidding?
Single.
Yeah, I would have
I was
helped her
like,
with the
"Stevie, I
audition.
need a
Don't go
gun."
around
Oh,
saying
no,
that.
no.
But she already had the role.
Okay.
No,
okay.
and
to
then
be
something
clear.
happened. You weren't even in town. Like you weren't even. You had something else happen that you
Yeah.
weren't even available to do it. So you were like, "Let Rich do
That
it."
would have been an honor.
And oh man. And then I just remember I got the role, but I worked like 30 days straight at one
Yeah,
point.
you did.
Because I couldn't get the time off from the show and do the movie.
Mhm.
So at some point I had to like literally just go back and forth. And I remember being in a quick change booth with Kim. And she checking on me. So how's that lesbian movie going for you? Just titties out. Just changing.
titties.
How's
How's that lesbo movie doing? You doing all right?
You doing
Shooting people at night? All right. You feel good about that?
She was
Because
just,
I need to check.
oh
'cause
my
the-
God. So
To make you
kept it
laugh.
going.
she
You gotta
would
make
make
it
me
fun.
laugh. So the levity that I needed was right there.
Because you
every
weren't getting sleep, but I could make
oh,
you laugh.
no, you could definitely
pleasure.
make me laugh.
You
and
know-
I said, this is crazy.
What we had in common that I didn't know until we started talking
Wow.
is that you came in the door grieving, and I did because my father passed away
Yeah.
3 months before, and I didn't. You know, it's funny because you can be like ships passing in the night,
Mhm.
and it would have helped my understanding of a lot of things, frankly, if we knew each other better. But you can't know.
Right,
You-
right.
you
We
get
were
to
just
work
kinda
and you're in
thrown
it.
in there.
But suddenly, if you do know, you just shift and go, oh, click.
Mhm.
And wherever you get that information, it's almost a relief to go, thank you.
Yeah.
Or
Like
thank
you-
you, I'm
like
not
I-
the only one. Because
I'm not
I
the only
didn't
one, but
know.
Right.
also
Yeah.
I also because I dealt with it differently. Dana
Mhm.
is more communicative,
Mm, mm.
but I didn't know how. I actually think about all that time and see myself as being an outsider. But I was more inside if I had known.
Right.
You see what I mean? What we were both dealing with
Right.
in different ways.
Mm.
And so I'm just telling you that
Well, let's be
I'm
clear.
glad I grew.
I'm glad you grew, but you were
Yeah.
a maverick and you were a force to be reckoned with, because whenever it was time to, you fought for things that made everything better for everyone. And
Thank
what you brought to that show, and just you as a person, you were a fighter. You're a fighter. So it was
like
like
you.
perfect, but it was perfect,
We
you
all
know?
fighters.
So maybe
that
we
deep?
maybe we punch at the wrong things
We do
sometimes.
sometimes.
the wrong
But we have
thing.
6 very strong individuals who
yes,
do know.
indeed.
And yet we got along and loved each other in a way that I think is deeper than even we can understand.
I think
I'm
so as
certain.
well.
We needed to live past it. Dana, the theme song, we can't let you get out of here without talking
Talk about
about
the theme
one of
song.
the most iconic theme songs there is.
That's
It's
still-
played all over the world. People redo it. Other people do it. It's all over the theme song. Tell us how you wrote it and what happened.
Obviously I come from music, so, and this is my show in my mind. I'm like, I gotta do this theme song.
It
This-
is your show.
These theme songs are like what resonate in your minds. Like you hear these theme songs, you take the good, you take the bad, you know,
Right.
or
Last
moving
moving
or
on
good
up.
times. All of these
Oh,
songs
yeah.
play. So I'm thinking I got to do the theme song, and like I said, there was I did a whole theme song for the original name of the show, My Girls, which was totally completely different, but very soulful, just vibey, you know. And I like to sing and rap and mix it
Mhm.
all together. So then they changed the name
of
on
the
it.
show.
The other reason I was arguing in that office. But,
Oh man, I just finished that.
damn, like, okay, gotta take it back to the lab. So I was just thinking about living single. I'm thinking about what we're doing. Like, what is it like? These 4 girls doing their thing. So a producer I know named Def Jeff, I needed him to come over and help me flesh this idea out. So I was like, I want this beat to feel like this. So he did the beat on the machine for me. And then I wrote the rhyme and then chopped up, check it out. So then Stu, we went over his house with the beat and he added like the keys, some keys to it. Cause I like pretty things like that. The opposites of what I am, Latifah, delicate, sensitive, and all that.
Come on.
So that we are living, hey, single. I'm hearing that in my mind. And it was longer. Yes, we're living the single life. So I'm
Your
thinking
voice
of
is
that.
so pretty.
But then I'm also like, keep your head up, boy, keep your head up. That's right. So I wrote the rhyme to it as well because of, we mixing rhyming and singing. So I wrote the song and then he played the song as I wrote it and Jeff did the beat. And then he was like, can you do this at the end? So his part, which was a clutch part, he played that. Can you just put this on there? Like, forget the whole song. That right there. And I was like, can you sing this note? So I sang whatever the notes were.
And they merged.
He put that, it was like the button on the end of the song that made it perfect.
Wow.
It made it perfect. So it was a mixture of this hip hop beat with these beautiful notes and a little bit of jazz at the end. That was perfect. And then Big Les is dancing in the visual to the opening. She's one of hip hop's best dancers at this time. It's shot in New York. It's all of these cuts. We're all dancing in it. So the energy of us matched with Les and New York and that song just all went together perfectly.
All hail the queen.
All
hail the queen.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Queen Latifah.
Latifah.
Thanks for coming.
This is True Blue, huh? The segment where we hear from you, our friends. Take it away, Amber.
From a bunch of people, and they have asked, they've noticed that in the credits, we see your name, Kim Coles, and Queen Latifah's name alternate. Can you tell us that story?
Sure. That is what is called Most Favored Nations. So since Dana and I were there, or Latifah and I were there from the beginning, our contract stated that we would have not only the same pay, but the same star billing. In order to share star billing, we had to flip our names every other week. So some weeks it's Kim Coles and then Queen Latifah, and then some weeks it's Queen Latifah and then Kim Coles. That was negotiated into our contract so that we could share the space. Well,
All right,
that's
let's
our
go.
show.
That is our show. Thank
that's
you
our
very
show.
much. Thank you, Queen. Thank you for doing it. We love your team. Thank you, Chip Hurd, for hearing us, for coming in.
What a nice surprise.
We love
and thank
you.
all of you for watching the show, liking, subscribing, as we know that you do. And you're going to be back next
Yes,
week,
on all
aren't
the
you?
socials, Spotify, Apple, wherever you subscribe and watch all the way through. If you watched here, you did. Okay, we'll see you next week. Bye. Reliving Single is hosted by me, Erica Alexander.
And me, Kim Coles.
Reliving Single is a production of Heartbeat in association with Color Farm Media.
Executive produced by Kevin Hart, Jeff Clanagan, Eric Eddings, Leslie Guam, Erica Alexander, and Ben Arnon.
The show is produced by Kim Coles.
Amber Watson is our senior producer.
Our associate producer is Kenny Jackson.
Our other associate producer is Electra Telesford.
Our sound engineers are Eric Hicks and Cedric Wilson.
Production supervision by Razak Boykin and Brett Calkins.
Additional production support from Alex Atkins and Z Taylor.
Special thanks to BK Augustine and Dr. E.J. Johnson.
We dedicate this episode to our beloved mother auntie, Rita Owens. And for more information about scleroderma, please watch the documentary Beyond Breathless.